Hello, everybody. Hi, Boogie.
Hi! You look so festive today.
I know, it's like we had to because we didn't get to have July 4th together, right? So
Can you see my shirt?
even my whipped cream is festive.
Let me see it again.
I got
Oh,
the-
it is festive.
And then I got the extra creamy one because you said it was better.
You're going to laugh today when I show you mine.
Oh, no.
I was a bad influence on you.
Yours is the no sugar one, of course. Thanks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of People Like Us. Jesus, Lord, is this episode 10 already? My God, time goes faster.
I know, how exciting. It goes by so fast.
It really does. To think
Super
of
fast.
like how 10, so we're like in the third month. I don't do math. That's fine. We'll move on.
You know, I don't either. I'm like, wait.
8 carry the third month. Yes. So,
100.
And hello, of course, to the people watching at home.
Hi, my babies. Thank you for joining us, our loyal fans.
Loyal subjects.
Love them. So, what do we got today? We're super excited about today's show because, as you guys can tell, we're patriotic today. Hi, my baby girl. My other baby's online. So we didn't get to celebrate 4th of July previous, but we're going to celebrate it now. And we're going to start off by the national food of the day, which is none other than National Apple Turnover Day.
Which
Doesn't that look delicious?
It's like an apple pie, right?
It is like an apple pie, and that's a good thing, and let me tell you why. So I went to my local grocery store, and for those that don't know, I live in the middle of nowhere, and my local store did not have apple turnovers. So I had to grab the next best thing, which is apple pie, and we're going to make it work because it's still got apples in it, and it's the cousin of the apple turnover. And I have...
Of course. She tells me, get the extra creamy one, and then she goes for the keto-friendly one. I can't stand you.
No, but I promise you, I have 3. I have this one, I have the creamy one, and then I have the regular one. And this one was just the first one I grabbed out of the fridge. I promise.
So
if you guys have yours,
apple turnover. I actually got
it. Right. Yes, good for you. Show it. Did you show it?
Yes, but I was going to share how I had no idea that this was supposed to be cooked in the oven, and so little did I know. Right before the show, I was like, "All right, I'm just going to go heat it up, and I'll be right back." And then I was like, "Oven!" So I learned today, but thanks to Pookie's advice, just throw it in the air fryer. I didn't know you could do that. So next up, I'm throwing a lasagna in there.
You know what's funny? I didn't know you could do that either because I've never done it. I couldn't even buy it at the store. But he's like, oh my God, I have to preheat my oven. And I don't know. And I'm like, throw that shit in the air fryer. Everybody throws everything in the air fryer.
Let's see how it turned out.
So if you guys have yours, dig in. If you don't, I'm so sorry. Just watch us dig in.
Look, I have gay napkins now. That's how gay we are in this house.
You're doing it backwards?
I'm like, I think it's the camera. Anyways, it's actually really good.
Well, my apple pie is great. It has the main ingredient, and that's apples. So if you wanted to put the history really quick so that I can show everybody, basically 1750s in England, it came about. Now I'm choking. I'm choking on my apples. So that's when they came out in the cookbooks. And I also read that it was probably cooked prior to, but it just wasn't published, which that happened a lot back then. It's understandable, but we're sure grateful. I just like spilled it everywhere. Jackie's like, levanta las manos. Super yummy.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Okay, take a
Oh my
sip.
God, super excited. Hi, family. I love having you guys on. Awesome. All of the Cuban Spanish remedies for choking.
Okay,
None of them by which include drink water, by the way. We
probably
don't
the best.
believe in that.
We're like,
wait, well, because it's like, I'm not done talking. Can I choke after I'm done with my statement? It's so rude.
well, that would never be a thing. Woo!
So, next, you wanted to share something, right?
More Apple stories.
That's
So,
awesome. You explain and I'll eat.
Yeah, now it's your turn to enjoy. That's what we have to do. We take turns and then eat real quick so we can both eat. All right, so here's a real quick funny story. So I had a client where I work, and we were not the best of friends in the beginning. We kind of butted heads, and both of us had a lot of feisty attitude. Well, long story short, now we love each other. We understand the feistiness, and it's pure comedy every time they come visit me. And the other day, they said, oh, do you like cinnamon rolls? And I said, I look like a cinnamon roll. I'm like, do I look like the kind of guy that says no to sugar? And she thought it was hilarious. She died laughing. And the next day, she showed up with this enormous box. And I'm thinking, like, you're bringing this to a place of employment. Like, there's probably like 6 little thingies. And she wrote on it, you have to share. And when I opened the box, to my surprise, the largest apple fritter.
Oh my Jesus. That looks so good though.
It was delicious. I promise and swear on the name of Jesus, I did not eat the whole thing by myself. But I thought, like, I have to take a picture with it, because if I took a picture of just the apple fritter, it kind of just looked like a normal one. And I was like, this thing is huge. And so
that's awesome. That's so nice of her to bring that.
The moral of the story is win people over and know that sometimes if you guys don't get along at the beginning, it might just be a bad day on your end or their end. And then you might end up with a fabulous, enormous human head-sized apple fritter. And so I thought it was great.
That's so funny that you said that. So that's super delicious. That was really nice of her. My only I guess frustration is the fact that I wasn't there to eat it with you, but I'm stuffing my face now with apple pie, so it's all good. I figured it out. And literally, with that being said, about friendships and people that sometimes you don't know and you have to give time to. So there's a rumor going around, and that rumor is that I'm a bully to you. And I want to address
it. It's not a rumor. There's proof.
No. It is a rumor. It is a rumor, and I want to address it right here, right now, with everyone.
Chat room, who has my back?
Listen, I want everyone to understand. First of all, our relationship is not like your normal friendship. See, this is why. This is why. So our relationship is not a regular, normal, just friendship. This person is my person. He is like my brother. I don't have to hold back. Neither does he. Now, the only problem is that he's learned how to hold it back on camera. So he makes me seem like this crazy, angry person, and he has a little halo around his head.
I don't know
lies.
He's talking about.
Those are lies. So I just want everyone to understand and know that we love each other deeply, that he is like a brother to me. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to roll my eyes. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to tell him when he's being annoying. And I just want everyone to understand that's okay, that that's just the nature of our relationship.
So basically, to sum it all up, she just told you guys she's going to bully me forever. Deal with it.
No.
That's what I heard. I did not hear you say you're not a bully. Like,
yeah, I did. That's the first thing I said. I'm not a bully. Our relationship is like that. The problem is that you hide yours and I don't. So
I don't know what you're talking
not
about.
only am I not a bully, but you're a liar, sir.
I'm not a liar. No.
Yes, you are.
No. It's called
good
professionalism and presentation. So I mean, is this my living room? Does that make it a lie? No. Is that your fireplace, darling?
You are just smarter than me when it comes to filming yourself. You've had how many years of experience of having YouTube shows and
So
channels?
what you're saying is I'm a professional. That's what I just said.
No, I'm asking how many years have you been doing this? It was a
150.
question.
150. I don't even know. Long time.
So a really long time. So people, he's perfected bullshit. I'm
No,
just saying.
professionalism.
No.
Look, even
I
Siri
call
said,
bullshit.
Sorry. Siri was like, sorry.
So just everyone know, I love him to death, and I'm not mean to him. I only beat him in the privacy of my home when no one's watching. Other than that, it's nothing but love.
Could you imagine if we were actually sitting next to each other in the show? You would.
Oh, I'd hit you when you're being
Proof. She's only not beating up on me because I'm not there. Guys, you heard it here. I am going to put all of these clips together. I'm going to do like what the politicians do. I'm going to splice all the clips that make her sound like she's saying.
Yeah, that make me sound crazy. Guys, he slapped me on New Year's Eve because I was emotional.
This is not on the agenda this evening. Moving right along.
Me, did you or did you not slap me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God! Lies! He slapped the crap out of me.
I don't even remember what I ate for lunch today. What are you talking about?
Who's abusive now? Anyways,
never do such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We do not encourage violence on this show, and you should only hit
just behind the scenes when you smack people for being emotional.
When the cameras aren't running, don't do that in public. That's crazy.
Yay! You said it. Okay, moving on.
So how was your July 4th?
I'm always eating on the show. I say eating the whole time. It was wonderful. We had family come over.
We're going to start changing it. And this week's protein smoothie is because Kayla.
No, you know that one of the national food days was like a smoothie. And I was like, no, find something else. So we did. We had a wonderful 4th of July. We spent the day with family, which is always fun and amazing and my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. We did a barbecue and it was just, close family, like just, that's it. I mean, it was a really, really nice time. We didn't stay late to watch the fireworks because now it's like nighttime at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we just kind of like took showers and rested up, and we did end up seeing some outside. Did you see any wonderful fireworks, like Disney fireworks?
I was going to tell you, I absolutely did not. I live so close to Disney that I can hear them. I would have to go outside to see them. I was already in bed by 8:30 because I'm still on rest mode. But I did want to tell you real quick. So Orlando was crazy. So the biggest area outside of Disney to watch fireworks is called Lake Eola. And everyone goes there and hangs out and whatnot. And so according to the story, I mean, I wasn't there, but somebody decided it would be entertaining to scream somebody shooting while the fireworks were going off. And it created mass pandemonium, literally like a stamp. It looked like I saw videos and I just didn't put it up here for respect out of people. It looked like the stampede from Mufasa. Like everybody was, I mean, it's scary anywhere, much more Orlando because of what we've dealt with in Orlando. It's crazy to me.
Funny. Like, why do people think
to me that somebody would think? I mean, again, I wasn't there. I don't know if somebody had a trauma response and that's why they said it or they really believed it. I don't know. But the point is, it led to a lot of craziness. And there was no confirmed shooter. Thank God nobody was hurt by a gun. People were actually hurt because people started running over people. All of that to say, the older I get, the less I want to be anywhere near this level of crowd. I can't. I can't. Like, Disney is the one place that I don't care that there's a crowd because I can still find like my little area and I'm okay. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. It's not out of fear. It's out of anxiety that those things are going to happen. And then the hours that the people were stuck in their car because they couldn't get out of the area because the police surrounded them. Now, so no,
it's just a level of like, that's not.
But I had the thought. I'm like, man, I should have gone and driven down me and Rodrigo to see the fireworks in the lake. And I was like, you know what? I was exactly where I needed to be. Yeah, I could have stepped outside, but I was like, nope.
I agree. It's awful that you have to think that way.
Orlando, they were watching it outside of their houses. They did fireworks on the sidewalk like we did when we were kids. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, okay, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like it's something that's supposed to be an amazing celebration, whatever festivity is going on, whether it's, an actual holiday or just like an event that's going on. And it sucks that, unfortunately, that's the first thing that comes to mind is our safety. And are we safe? It's like, I'm trying to have a good time with my family or my friends. The last thing I need is a scam of any sort or a tragedy, which is even worse.
Yeah, I just don't agree with myself in those places anymore. And I think you went like that because like you had for a long time like been over that. And I was like, oh, what's the big deal? And now I'm like, nope. Yeah. Like it literally is like the last thing I would want to be is anywhere near that kind of situation without the bad thing happening, much less with the bad thing happening. So, but anywho, share about yours. I know there's some pictures to share.
Yes, I have some family pictures up of our day. It was just, again, super chill. That's me and 2 out of the 3. I couldn't get a picture with Amanda was like in the water the whole time. I swear she was like mermaiding.
Team Joey.
And then I was running around and making drinks and all of that. So this was a quick snap that Jackie took of me and Joey. Every time we get Joey around, we try to like pin him down for a picture. I promise he was here, even if it was 5 minutes.
Choice.
Yeah, awful. And then here is everybody else. Yes, we're just hanging out. So see, 2 out of the 3 kids are there because Jackie and Amanda are in that picture, and Patty and Joe and Humberto and Ari and Anthony and Aiden. So but then Joey's not in that picture. It's always so hard to pin everybody down for a picture. I'm not in the picture because I was taking the picture. But we had an amazing day. And it's so funny because Amanda mentioned on there, it's true. Joey had an after party, he had his friends come over. And by the time the family members were kind of grouping up and getting ready to like head out, he still had all his boys in the pool, which is such a teenage thing to do. That's what, I love that they do that and they can bring their friends and, people that they love to our home. Yes, you were a mermaid. She was in the water the whole time.
Girl, we don't know when Joey grew up either. Yesterday.
We had a great time. We had a wonderful time.
You see the comment?
I don't know when Joey grew up. Yeah, neither do I.
We don't either. Yesterday.
So, talking about the 4th of July, just a little bit of history, fun fact. Those are the 13 colonies, the original 13 colonies, just in case, no one knew or fell asleep during history class that day or whatever the situation may be. Cool fun fact as to why we celebrate what we celebrate and what it really stands for. I know we always end up, the barbecues and the hanging out, and that's always fun. There's actually another fun fact I think on there.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about this. The only reason, not because, school, but the 13 colonies will always remind me being very little, helping my grandma study for her citizenship. I was like, Virginia, Massachusetts, like we did it so many times.
That's what an awesome memory of that. Yeah, like this to trigger that memory. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So fun facts for 4th of July. Hold on, because I have my screen like itty bitty and I can't read that.
Do you want me to read some of it?
No, I'm just opening up my screen. Sorry, guys, because my eyes are all over the place. But I'm just like, I can't see that. All right. So basically 1776, we celebrate it due to the founding fathers of the United States. Fun fact, 190 million pounds of beef. When you say that out loud, it sounds like awful.
Just think like a quarter pounder, but like a lot of that.
190 million, 150 million hot dogs. Total revenue was like $6.77 billion is literally spent on 4th of July.
You know, I always wanted to enter a hot dog eating contest.
Oh my God. You've said that before.
All the time. I've said it my whole life. Somebody do it. I don't mean like a professional one. I'm not on that level, but like with my friends, I want to get a table and I think I'll win because I'm gay. Moving on.
You're sure as hell gonna win with me because I'm not doing that. I'll be the judge, but
I think I could do it.
Oh my God. Well, I will say this really quick, just because you mentioned that. I saw once on TV like a professional hot dog eating. It is disgusting. Have you ever seen it? They wet the bread.
Yeah, you have to because you can't swallow after a while.
Oh my God, it's so disgusting.
Amanda,
if I would have remembered that, Amanda.
No, but I don't want to. I don't want to compete against like all of Joey's friends. Like they'll win.
Yeah, that has to be like a guy thing. Yeah, that's how I feel, Philly. Like, no thanks. So, anyways, that was just a quick little fun fact about the 4th of July because I thought, I was like, oh my God, that's so much money to spend on food. But I contributed it to that number. So I can't talk crap about it because we had hot dogs and we had hamburgers. So.
Yep. If you guys haven't watched Hamilton on Disney Plus, it is amazing. And it's a fun way to learn about our history of our founding fathers. It's amazing. So definitely recommend it.
So speaking of our 4th of July extravaganza.
What we were doing this weekend, right?
I happened to come across this on Instagram. I wasn't really on my phone most of the weekend. I usually am not when I'm hanging out with the family. I just toss my phone over. But I saw this, I believe it was Sunday prior to the 4th of July. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I felt really like heartbroken by it and I don't agree with it.
Yeah. So let's show you guys what we're talking about. So online, this was the post. That was not the post. This was the post.
Yeah.
So let's show up and show out all over the country. And for censoring purposes, you can read between the blur. But basically, after the 4th, wear green and protest.
They'll mute me.
Yeah, we're not supposed to say it. I know we do, but we're not supposed to.
I cuss a lot.
I'm
a sailor. I'm a sailor, Mel.
Wear green and protest at your local courthouse, 4 p.m. Post a picture or video about what freedom and independence mean to you. And it's interesting because you rarely send me the stories that are controversial because that's not your cup of tea. And the moment you sent this, we were both like, we'd have to talk about it. We're like, oh, we're talking about it because I agree.
And this was, can I say who posted it? Because that's off too. So this was posted by Jodie Sweetin, which is a very big activist. You know, she's a star. Like, we love her from Full House. I literally grew up like she was my character because she was the middle kid. So she was like, I was like, oh, I always felt like I understood her. Like, her and I were the same person. We're like middle kids. So she's a friend in my head, you know, and I've always followed her career. I followed when she was into drugs, and I was really happy to hear that she had overcome that and she was back on TV and doing what she loved. And I read that and I was like, like, you know, not only do I not agree with the statement and that type of movement, I don't think it's positive, and I don't think it sends the clear message that maybe she's trying to get out for whatever reason. But I'm proud to be an American, and I am proud that we are in this country, and it's not perfect. And guess what? It never has been.
Nope.
This country has never been perfect. And if you think that it has, speak to women, speak to African Americans that were slaves, speak to, you know, all of the immigrants that this country has been built on and everything that they've had to fight for as well. We've been fighting our whole lives, generations and generations of people in this country, but I still believe it to be home and one of the best countries in the world. And it kind of hurts me to hear people take that kind of stance on a day that is not supposed to represent that. It's supposed to bring us that light and that reminder of everyone that's with their bravery got us to be where we're at, you know?
Yeah, and I will say this, and I don't know the context, so I'm not defending her, but I did see that she also recently was at a protest and got pushed down to the ground. I don't know if that was
Mhm.
before or after posting this. So again, I don't know the context.
It
I
was
don't know if
before.
that was
I did see
before,
that too. There was like
right?
a blockage of officers where they were not
Yeah,
supposed to approach.
right. So
And I
I'm
don't agree
assuming,
with the fact that she was shoved, but at the same time,
no,
it's
that's
like
what I'm
there's
saying.
a
Like, so I don't know if this
yeah.
came from like I'm pissed
No, no,
off
no,
and
no. It
I'm
was but that's why I'm saying I do know. So that's why I'm
okay.
explaining it that it was after that post. So that's what I'm explaining where
Oh,
for the
okay.
people that didn't see it, there was a barrier of officers. They're doing a protest and for whatever the reason they were advising to not, stay back from the line of officers and a few people did not respect that and yes, they were shoved and pushed back to where they were supposed to be. I
Wow.
never agree with any type of violence. I don't care where it comes
Oh
from.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh, good for her because she did get knocked to the ground and she fell and pobrecita, like I'm sorry. It's not like I'm okay with that happening either. But yes, this post was after that.
So
So
maybe she was pissed off and maybe that's where some of this anger comes from. But here's my thing. Like,
maybe.
I absolutely respect and love our right to protest. Um, it is one of the best things about being in this country because in other countries, when you speak out against your government, you could be murdered, your family could be killed, you could be jailed, enslaved. Like, you're not allowed to. So
You
just the
can't
fact
even
that you
speak
get
about it,
right.
much less protest.
So just the fact that you get to do that is enough to remember that we're in a great place, regardless of the details. You don't like what just happened in the Supreme Court regarding abortion. I get it. Protest that.
Yeah.
Go to the polls. Vote for different people that stand for different things. I'm all about it. However, there are people right now that are willing to die to just try to get into this country. And so I was born here because my family left Cuba. My husband left Brazil. You're from Cuban family. Most of my friends are from or are immigrants. What I will say is that we can't lose sight of the balance and I think the thing that we need most right now, in my opinion, is a reset on perspective. So are things perfect? No. Are
Yeah.
things really crazy right now? Yeah, I think they are. Does a lot of things need change, need fixing? Yes. But we don't need to go to a place where we're saying, I saw it all over. I mean, this was a post that was verbally very abrasive, so it really caught our attention. But I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, I won't be celebrating today. What should I be celebrating? And in my mind, I'm like, the fact that you could dislike where you live so long or so
And
much that you
still be
get to
okay.
express
Yeah.
that, celebrate that. And the reality is this, and I don't say
Yeah.
this in any way to be rude. It's just the reality. If you truly are that unhappy with America and you don't see it getting better and you hate it that much, you guys realize you don't have to stay here. And I do not say that disrespectfully because you know what?
Yeah.
There are people, and I say this from love, in my own family that we've all been there, came from Cuba and started saying like, oh, well, in Cuba, this was better. And I'm like, you go back then, go back. So wherever you're going to stand, wherever your feet are standing, respect the fact that you're there. And the reality is we have a lot of freedoms here. Now, I understand times are crazy. I really do. And obviously, personally, I feel against a lot of the stuff going on right now. I just think that's not the way we should use our platform. And she has a platform where she could be incentivizing people, motivating them, teaching them, educating them on why it is so important that we go vote. Because I'm going to say this and I'll stop. One of the things that I think is most important to talk about right now, especially with people who are 18, 19, 20, the very young voters, is the importance and how to get educated on the voting system aside from presidency. Because everybody knows about the president, watches the debates, and typically the people who want to vote go vote for president. And they don't realize all these people that are sitting there right now making these changes have nothing to do with the president.
With the president,
but myself included, I'm not the most informed on all the other times to vote. So what a great time as your platform is to say, hey, in November, there's elections coming up.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. That would be such a great use of your platform to say, this is why it's so important you vote, instead of let's get rallied and get angry, and you're not achieving anything. So
Well, the problem that I feel is like it's coming from a hatred place. And that's where I feel like the
angry.
divide is coming from in this
Absolutely.
world, where it's such like anger driven and anger rallied. And I am not an angry person, I don't live my life that way. So when I see that, it confuses me because I'm thinking it's okay that we have our opinions. And like you said earlier, how grateful that you can talk about it. Not only talk
Absolutely.
about it in your home, but you can put it out on social media. And you can people I was scrolling through TikTok today, and I saw people changing the lyrics to some of our our songs that are American songs, that are just anthems for our freedom and for our. And that's hurtful to me, because we do come from immigrants, and we do it's still so much better than what it was for them. So I agree with you. People just need to get educated. We need to want to learn so that we can make the right decisions where it counts. And it's
And
not about being angry or hating or demanding that people be like-minded. It's really about just understanding the democracy of everything, and understanding that sometimes you're going to win some and sometimes you're going to lose some, but you're in a country that allows you to voice that. And how lucky are we for
right.
that?
Yeah, I absolutely
So
agree. And to anybody who doesn't realize how real it is when I say people are willing to lose their lives just to try to get here. For my whole life, I've heard about Cubans who got on a plank of wood that they created and were in the ocean going 90 miles, hearing, sharks under them, and drinking salt water because they didn't know what else to do, and suffocating through that salt water, just at the hopes that their feet could land here so they could stay. I recently heard, I'm talking about recent, and I won't disclose any information, but somebody I know who their family member literally physically just ran across the border. You're literally physically risking the fact that you can get shot at or imprisoned, or worse, sent back to your country. Well, now you'll be imprisoned over there. I just think like people are willing to do all of that to get here. That tells you how bad it actually is elsewhere. And
yeah.
so, as bad as it is right now, because it is, guess what? It's not as bad as most of the places.
Yeah.
Not some, not a couple, a lot of places wish they're bad.
And I think
bad.
people forget.
They
People, I
do.
think, forget that this has never been a perfect country. There is no such thing as a
There
perfect
never will
country.
be. We're talking about people with different points of views.
Correct. And but that's what I mean. There's always been some sort of fight. You know what I mean? And
There always will be.
that's the point, is that there's always going to be something that we're going to
Yeah.
fight for to make our country better. And I think people need to remember that it's not about perfection. It's about, again, having the privilege to discuss these things and not being scared that we're going to get locked up in jail, or that we're going to have something happen to us, while we're
In the
crossing
middle
the
of the
street
night,
tomorrow. So, and especially as a woman, and you as a gay man, like, I understand it's not perfect, but here we are having this conversation with all the love in the world and
We're
all of
not
the respect in the
censored.
world
We're not shut down.
that we can't have elsewhere. So that's all, I think I wanted to say about that. Yeah, see, that's beautiful. We live in a time of conflict, external and internal, when we sometimes concentrate too much on what divides us. Today, fly the stars and the stripes with pride and confidence that what unites us is far stronger. And I believe that 100%.
I do too.
So,
And I think we need to get back to that understanding. And so, we're not, I don't believe we are like the most patriotic, red flags, everything, but we were like, we got to talk about this because it is in our heart. Like, we're from this country, and I'm not unproud of it, regardless of the things that need to change. So,
yeah, me neither. And I'm grateful for it. So, yes. So, I pledge of allegiance to
the bandera. And now to something completely ridiculous and silly. So we haven't been sharing a lot of Kelly clips lately, but I'm very confused because I thought she was on summer break, but then her shows are still airing. But then I don't know if they're reruns, but sometimes they're not. So I'm like, you pre-recorded stuff and you're releasing it. Totally confused. With that said, she released this clip the other day, and I just thought it was so fun. So let's have some joy with Kelly for the moment.
That happens every day on the show that you never get to see. After I say, have a great day, and if it's not, change it, the band plays out with the credits. For you at home, the music gently fades. Here on the stage, it ain't so gentle. It goes on, and sometimes on and on and on and on. You don't know what you're doing until they play it back. I haven't seen it until just now. And it's a lot of thrusting. For the life of me, I can't figure out why I'm single. Wow, I'm a lot of person. It's awesome.
I love it.
I hope that brought you guys joy today.
She's like, I'm gonna start doing that too.
Oh my God. I was in hysteria. And then my favorite of the whole thing is her reaction after. She's like, you don't know what you're doing until you watch it back. Because on this show, that is also true. We have recently started clipping little snippets of the show to put on TikTok. And we started to notice little things, like Yvette loves clapping. And I didn't know that.
I am such a clapper, guys. I'm like,
but you don't understand how funny it is to me now, because now I see it on all the clips that I'm making. I fast forward them there, and I'm like, oh my God, she's always clapping.
I'm always clapping.
So stay tuned for the video montage of her clapping.
I'm gonna put that on my resume, professional clapper.
Oh no, I don't think that's something you should.
What do you mean? Maybe I can do like a voiceover of me clap. People get hired for that kind of stuff.
Well, we thought that was fun and funny and entertaining and a good mood shift. And another quick celebrity moment that we wanted to show you guys was Miss Demi Lovato. She was sharing a little bit on, I believe, her TikTok. So let's look at that clip.
Hey guys, I was just thinking, I normally get on here and I normally have like, a filter or a bunch of makeup on, and I wanted to come on here and talk about how excited I am for my new single, Substance. It's a song about how we live in a world that's really lacking substance. We're lacking there's so much fake shit in the world. There's so many things that just lack meaning that we focus on in our daily lives, and it's like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, how am I lacking substance? And yeah, maybe what I put on social media, the image that I put of myself, like, that's lacking substance.
And so you guys can watch the full clip on her TikTok. But I love the topic, how do we bring more substance? And that's why she was wearing no makeup. And, I absolutely agree with the commentary. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's always been. And I think like a lot of the people in the industry, it's hard to remember that because you're always being told you're not perfect, you're too thin, you're too fat, you need more makeup, you need more hair, you need more this. So she's releasing a new song called Substance, and it brought up that conversation. I just thought it was really just a great point about like, how do we add substance? And she's asking people to comment like, where can you add more substance? And so I'm proud to believe that this show is doing just that. You know, we talk about a lot of different things, but I believe we look for things that matter. And it makes me very proud to let Demi Lovato know that this is how we be adding substance.
We are adding substance through our show. It is. It's really difficult because everything is so scrutinized. And I think that that's where it comes from. It comes from a lot of insecurity of like,
Oh,
I
sure.
have to portray to be perfect. I have to be thin. I can't show, you know, my arms because they're not fit, or my legs because I have, you know, I have cellulite. And it's so awful the way that we have to think about things before posting them, which is just fun fact for all of our family members and our viewers and our friends that are watching. That's one of the reasons why we decided to do this as a live show, because we didn't want to fall into
Because we
that
would
scrutinizing of ourselves to be like, oh my God, I have a double chin on this one. Can you take that off or cut this? Or I don't like what I said. Or, oh my God, I'm clapping too much. All of this stuff that realistically, when you have the ability, you want to show perfection, and that's not life. So I applaud us for deciding to do this live and just rolling with it. And it is what it is. You know, our quirkiness, our moodiness, our, you know, miss articulation of our words, whatever it is, you know, it comes out, and it's
and I'm gonna tell you this,
we're
you
not
know,
perfect.
as you said earlier, I used to have a different YouTube and whatnot, and I would spend a lot of time on editing, on chopping things off, on that didn't look right, on re-recording, on adding, you know, things to it. And guess what, guys? I will say this in a very almost self-gratuitous manner. This YouTube that we're doing right now has almost as many, and it will surpass the subscribers that I had there when I was doing it for years. And I believe that's because of the authenticity. And I believe people are like wanting more of that. And they like to laugh. Like, we're silly and we laugh. I don't know how you guys feel, but we laugh at ourselves laughing. Like, when we watch the clips back, we die laughing, like if we're not watching ourselves. So we really are trying to just put ourselves out there. Some people like Pookie are more comfortable and want to show you their bully side, and I don't. But the whole idea was editing becomes overthinking. And we do all of that already in our photos with a filter and an angle and a mirror and a lighting. Yes. I don't have time for it. Literally, if we were doing this show and we were going to edit, I'd never post it. I literally would never. I'd be like, this is like, we talk, we post, done. And so it seems like you guys are liking it so far, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, great. Now I'm gonna sit on my hands. Guys, if you notice I look a little strange, I'm sitting on my hands to prevent the clapping. Oh my gosh. All right. So with that being said, what is on your mind? 5 minutes or less. Just kidding.
For half a second, I was not remembering what was on my mind. All right. So, because, you know, screens and stuff.
It's so much, though. It's so much on our minds.
It is a lot. So I want to just really talk through this and just make a couple statements here, and we'll talk through it, whatever. So one of the big statements I want to make is very just black and white, that it is okay to quit things. It is okay to decide you're done with something, or on a positive way, you want to try something new. All of that is okay. And I think that it gets a very bad reputation, especially with again, going back to how we have chosen to present ourselves on social media, right? We are taught that we have to brand ourselves. We are taught that we are supposed to want to work 24/7, because if we're not, we really aren't working hard enough. We're taught a lot of things. And then the moment you shift or change or want to do something different, I'm not even talking about what other people think. You feel like, I can't. Like, I would be judged and the opinions would flood in. And sometimes we stay in something longer than we even want to, just because of how we think other people will feel. And, you know, I've been very outwardly spoken about being part of many different companies. I, you know, have been with Mary Kay for 8 years, I think now, almost 8 years. I joined Herbalife in November. And I will tell you, I meet a lot of people who have very bad notions of those, or opinions or critiques of those kind of companies. And I am not speaking against any of those companies, because I truly love my experience. And what I'm here to tell you is that part of it is a big part of where that negativity comes from, is because there is a vast majority of people that make you feel like you could try this out. And the moment you jump in, it's like, if you step out, you're looked at like a villain, like a criminal, like you did something terrible, like you quit, you left. And I'm here to tell you guys, I'm not saying don't give it your all. However, I am saying find your path, your journey, your passion, and find something that, like, I love this and I want to do this. And if at any point it doesn't feel like that anymore, it's okay. You have one life. And when you step out of something and try something new, you might be like, oh my God, this is where I was supposed to be. And you'll never know if you just stay there, because that's where you're supposed to be. There's a difference of, I'm going to work, and even though there's, obstacles, I'm going to push through that, versus I'm going to swim upstream. This is not for me. No, it has to be. That at some point, it's like, pay attention to the signs, the feelings is very big for me. If you're not enjoying it, if you're not really feeling like you should be there, if you're not feeling attached to it, if you don't have the desire to be, then why are you still there? Because you think that if you quit, other people will speak about you for quitting? So what? Who cares? RuPaul always says, they don't pay my bills, I ain't paying them no mind. And so I really wanted to just share that from somebody who's been in the business and is not in any way speaking against them, because I do believe they can change your lives. I love multi-level marketing. I love direct sales. I love sales. I believe I'm great at it. I'm passionate. I can teach people. I love it. But I really wanted to make that bullet point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think it goes even further than that. I believe that we're stuck in generational mentalities
Completely.
that make it very, very difficult. What I mean by that is that we feel, for example, like our generation, right? And what we were taught with the immigrant family members that came to this country was like, you have to work hard and you have to pick something and you have to go towards that one something, and that's what you have to do. And you're going to get a roof over your head, and you're going to get food on your table, and you're going to have a car, and that is what you do, right? So here we are, and we're like, okay, I'm going to pick this, and this is what I have to do, because that's going to get me everything else that not only have I been told I need, but I think everyone wants a sense of security for themselves, whatever that means to each person. Sure. Because my security may look different from yours, but you're still searching for that security for yourself as well. I think everyone has that sense of what that is for themselves. So here's this younger generation that is working smarter, not harder. They're making millions off of YouTube and TikTok, and they're diversifying, and they're not going to college, and they're chasing their dreams. And we're kind of like in this tug of war where I feel like we're like, well, wait a minute, I can do this too. And I can be an entrepreneur and I can go do this. And who says that I have to have a 9-to-5? And then the other side of you is like, oh, no, but I need my 9-to-5 because that may not work out over there. And if it doesn't work out over there, what are people going to say? Yeah. That I'm irresponsible, that I don't have goals, that I'm just winging life. All of these negative thoughts come into play. And I do feel that at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong answer. Yeah. We are all very different, and we are all meant to live different lives. And we are all
has to be different,
driven by different motivators in our life. We're not trees, which means that we don't have to stay where we've planted roots. We can lift and we can change. And we can say, you know what? I've been doing this for X amount of years and I feel satisfied. I feel like I can no longer grow in what I'm doing. And now I want to do something else. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is, there's nothing wrong with that. And we do have to remove that stigma. And a lot of it, I feel really a lot of it we put on ourselves, especially like our generation where we struggle because we were always taught differently. So I agree with you 100%. I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with changing your mind or changing your career path, changing where you live.
And I will tell you this. I feel like the stigma is stronger on independent businesses than in a job. I feel like when somebody changes a job, it's like, oh my God, you got a new job? What is it? Tell me about it. And when somebody's in a multi-level marketing and they switch, it's
Yeah.
like, you switched? And it's like, I didn't switch. I chose to try something new. And newsflash, you can do more than one thing at the same time. Like, you don't have to switch. You can do more than one thing.
But if you analyze it, most of those people, and we've all been guilty of it in whatever way, shape, or form, whether it's a precondition in your mind, whether it's something that you were taught that you don't even realize you've picked up on, because I know that's happened to me too. I mean, hello, I freaking sleep with a mop in my hand. You know what I mean? Lord forbid, I don't mop my floors every day. My house is dirty. Anyway, what I mean is that mentality carries across in every aspect of our life. And it's awful because those people that say those things are usually the ones that were too scared to go after their dreams too. And I don't think that they say it with bad intent, but they're pawning their fears off on you.
That's all it is.
When
Their
it's like,
fears come from their
you're
fear.
going to do that? What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it doesn't work?
Or
It's
they
okay.
tried it, it didn't work for them, and they're like, oh no, it's a scam. And I'm like, no, that was your experience. It didn't work for
Yeah.
you. Let people have their experience. A friend of mine that used to be in the multi-level marketing world and quit, you know, the whole story of like girl boss, like the girl boss is an entrepreneur and she's fabulous and she has the cool office. The other day I was talking to her and she left that world. She goes, turns out I don't want to be a girl boss. I'm okay working 9 to 5 and I'm happy there. And I was like, imagine that. Like, that isn't a bad thing to not be an entrepreneur. And in a lot of these businesses, they fail to teach. There's two brains. There's entrepreneur and traditional. And most times you're one or the other. Some people can handle doing both, but their heart goes one or the other. If you don't understand entrepreneurial life, you could try all you want. It's probably not going to work for you. Being an entrepreneur means you're running your own business. You are the one who you report to, which means you have to be disciplined and organized. And there's a lot that
And
goes
work
into
twice as hard because
There's
you're
a lot
building
that goes
something.
into it. So it doesn't
And there's
work.
nothing, and that's a key point too, I believe, that we should mention. There's nothing wrong with not having that mentality, because
Or
I
trying
feel
it
as
and deciding it
well,
doesn't fit for you.
there's people that almost like, oh, well, everybody else is doing this, I should be doing it too. And
The
they feel
pressure.
that if they're not, then they're falling behind. And no, that's okay. We
Yeah.
are all meant to do different things, and you have to just get to know who you are and
And I do think
experience. Yeah.
I do think this is a really great comment because I suffer from the same syndrome. I judge myself if I'm not constantly doing something. I don't know how to relax and be in the moment. You know, I have 5 seconds off from work and I'm like, what should I plan? Should I do something? Where should I go? What should I do? And I have this problem where I don't know how to allow myself downtime and not feel guilty about it. So then I'll give myself a day off of doing nothing. And then I'm like, well, tomorrow I have to do stuff because I mean, yesterday.
Yeah, I'm useless. I did nothing all day today. I'm a couch potato. I can't like.
Says who, right? Like, and that's honestly what happened after 8 days of having COVID, getting up like, okay, I feel better. I'm going to go do something. And I went and overdid it and hurt myself. Literally, it's such a ridiculous example, but it's the reality of what happened. I was like, I've been home for 8 days. Enough is enough. Well, I couldn't listen to my body. I couldn't hear that I wasn't okay because the thought of I have to go do something was bigger than I need a little more rest. And we have to break that. And I do think that the whole work smarter, not harder that we hear in our younger generation, I'm going to tell you this. Do I agree with that phrase? Yes. Do I think it's being completely misused? Also, yes. Because I've had people in the corporate bubble, when I've said to do something, say, oh no, I work smarter, not harder. That phrase does not imply you don't work hard, my friends. It implies that if there's a way to do something easier, why would you go the long way? Why would you not do it this way if it's shorter, easier, more efficient? That's what work smarter means. Now, by all means, if you have found a passion that you could work from home and do all of, hallelujah,
good for you. Yeah.
It's not a judgment on
But
that.
I have a question for
these
you.
little phrases as like weapons. Like, no, I work smarter, not harder. No, you're not
Well,
working
but
hard. That's not what we're talking about.
Speaking of weaponizing statements, I have a question for you and maybe for everyone that's watching. So speaking of like the younger generations or just people with this mentality, not necessarily a younger generation, because I'm not trying to target them, but that's why I've seen it the most. Do you think that they're onto something? Or do you think that, not do you think, like, so for example, mental health awareness that's become such a movement. Part of me feels like that's getting milked. It's getting milked and it's not what it was intended to be.
Correct.
And I feel like some people tend to use that as like a cop out.
Yeah.
So
I think
it frustrates me, especially for the people that really do have that issue.
so.
What do you
So
think
here's
about
my
that?
here's my take on it. We all have that issue. Everybody has some layer of mental health that they need to take care of. Whether it's anxiety, depression, ADD, whatever. You need to go to a psychologist, talk
All of
about
the
your
above.
past, all the above. You need all the medicines, right? My point is this: there's no judgment in needing to seek counseling for mental health and whatever that may be for you. And I think that's where the established phrase came from. Like, you need to check on your friend and check on your happy friend, and your mental health matters. You're absolutely correct. And that came from, well, a lot of it really became really loud through COVID, right? Because mental health became a very hot topic because people really didn't know how to deal with being by themselves at home for 8 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 10 weeks at a time in quarantine. People really like lost them. They didn't know what to do with themselves, right? So do I think it's important? Yes. Do I think it should be used as a leverage to get away with doing whatever it is you want? No, because
No.
I'm here to say
Yeah.
this. Like, I dealt with mental health my whole life, and I still found my way through working and then went to the psychologist. So don't ignore your mental health, but I don't
Yeah, it's
believe
just, it
should
shouldn't be
used.
used as a crutch to
It
avoid
can't
your
be.
responsibilities in life.
It
And
can't
I
be.
think
And
that
it's
that's
not.
where there's a very big disconnect where it's like, guys, yes, we have to attend to our mental health, and
Of
everybody's
course.
going to do that whichever way that works for them. But you still have responsibilities. You still have to go on about your life. You still have to work. You still have to pay your bills. You still have to get it together. Get yourself to that place where you're able to live a functional life. And part of living a functional life is working and having your responsibilities taken care of.
So here's the
So
reality. If your job is making you suffer, if your boss is making you like just you're
yeah,
miserable,
driving you nuts. Yeah.
go get another job. I'm not saying
Yeah.
stay there. That's called
Yeah.
taking care of your mental health. I've taken a leave of absence due to situations like that. I know what that feels like. So it's not a judgment. Again, I always try to tell people, like, this is not a place of judgment. What I'm saying
No,
is
at all. It's
you
like,
you have to take care of your mental
yeah,
health by saying, you know what, this job is not more important than my feelings. So I'm
than
going to
me.
move myself
Exactly.
elsewhere. And in today's world, there are more openings out there than ever before. So if you're not happy
Yes.
where you work, I promise you,
Yeah.
there are places out there hiring. I'm going to
We're
tell you
not
right now,
trees.
I work in the financial industry, and in the last 7 years that I've worked in the industry, I have never seen the amount of openings that I see now. The amount of institutions that are not filled with employees for no reason other than people are not applying. It
Yeah.
blows my mind. It used to be one here, one there. I'm talking about like hundreds and hundreds. You're like, what's happening? So just please make sure also, if you're one of the people who has this conversation or has this dialogue about like, I would like to go, but I don't know where to go, then maybe you should seek career counseling. Maybe you should talk to a
Yeah.
mentor, find a mentor. But there are resources out there. And I promise you, if you're really unhappy where you're at, there is somewhere else you can find yourself. And like you said, Pookie, I love that. We're not trees. For some metaphors, I like to be
No.
a tree, but for this one, I'm not rooted. I can go wherever I
Yeah,
want.
it's like,
This is-
okay, get
I'm a
up and
walking tree.
move.
Okay, I'm a
Go
walking tree.
somewhere
I can
else.
go across.
But continue the process of your growth, because understand this, if you allow anyone to take that away from you, then not only are you going to be suffering from whatever mental health situation you're dealing with, or depression or anxiety or whatever it is, now you're allowing people to have power over you.
Yes.
Because that to me, I'm very big on that. How wonderful and beautiful it is to be able to say, I take that power back in my life, and I
Absolutely.
choose. I choose
Absolutely.
where I want to go, and I choose how I want to move in my life. But movement is always necessary for your growth in any way, shape, and form. So
And I love what Greg said last week, where he was like, yeah, I went through things, but like I choose to like let that go and move past it. Like I'm not there anymore. And I'm like, yes, like you got to heal, you
Yes.
got to go through things, but like, I'm not anchored to that history, to that past.
Yes.
We've all been through things.
We've all been through it. It's an experience. We went through it. It was awful. We went through the mud and we came out better on the other side, and we're moving on, and it's not who we are. It's just something that we went through. And I think that we have to separate that. So all good things, all
Great
good things.
conversation.
The what?
I said, great conversation. I love it.
Yes. I'm like, the
Huh? Say it
speaking
into
to
the
my good
good
here.
Check the battery. What's her name? I'll never remember her name.
Alma.
I
Sister
always say
Alma.
Myrna. I'm like, I don't know who Myrna
You
is.
do say Myrna. We have
Myrna.
these conversations all the
In my
time.
head,
It's
in
not.
Sister Act, she goes, Myrna, check the battery. It's Alma. Myrna, check the
Yeah.
battery. Yes.
So funny.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we have gotten to the part of our show where we are going to shine a light, which is normally we like to, look up like charities or what's going on, like some sort of awareness that's going on in the world and the month of and whatnot, and provide information. And today we wanted to do something just a little bit different. And we wanted to shine a light on something that I feel not only is it close to home and close to our heart, it's definitely something that we've been talking about this whole episode, and something that I feel that, the world needs to acknowledge and celebrate a little bit more. And that is our, are you going to put the drum roll, please? That picture is so powerful, by the way. Our immigrants, guys, we are shining the light today on our immigrants, our family members, our parents, our friends, our just, co-workers, everyone that we love and that creates who we are in our life, all, united. And we are all immigrants in this country. Every single one, even the people that don't think they're immigrants, they're immigrants. Everybody came from somewhere. So we wanted to definitely shine a line on that. The freedom, the accomplishments that we have all conquered. And again, despite of all the divide and the craziness, we stand proud, and we're proud Americans. And this land is where people are fleeing to for a reason. So yeah, that picture was incredibly, like, it was so, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I have to put that. So these are two pictures that I found. The one to the left, or you're right, I don't know, the one on the boat, it's Cubans. This was part of the Mariel movement back in the 80s, where they came on a boat. They were shipped out, and those were the lucky ones that were able to come on boats. There were plenty of other pictures on rafts, on trucks that were used as rafts. It's overwhelming when you go on Google and you're looking up these things. A lot of us were very young when that was happening. Some of us weren't even born yet. But to see pictures of it, here's another picture. I believe that picture was taken in Arizona, if I remember the information on it. And that is Venezuelans, in a rally, and hung for Venezuelan freedom, and being able to do that. Like, again, how amazing that you are in another country and you are rallying for your home country, and you get to do that. That's also very powerful. I don't think people remember that or realize that, where it's like you're in a whole other country and you have the flags of your home, where your heart is, where your family is. And that's something else we get to do here because, of the freedom that we have.
That's right.
So this is Franklin Roosevelt. Remember always that all of us, and you and I especially, are descendants from immigrants. So everything that we've been talking about, we are a nation of immigrants. We are the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the ones who wanted a better life. The driven ones, the ones who woke up at night hearing that voice telling them that a life it's just, it's overwhelming because it's, I say it to your husband all the time, like, they're so brave. There's so much bravery, there's so much bravery in that. Like, pick up, and you have no idea where you're going to land. you know, and I've spoken to my husband's grandmother, and I hear her, like, her story is like insane
Yeah.
of how she even got here. And that's just one out of hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of immigrants in this world that come to this country. And it's just like they all want a life that's better, and they know that they can get it here.
I want to tell
So
you, I was talking to him before the show today, and I said, you know, when I went to Brazil on vacation, I arrived there by myself, and I was very scared. I didn't know anybody in the country per se. I was very scared when I got there, and I spoke the language más o menos, right? Like I spoke what back then I used to say I spoke Portuñol because I mixed Spanish and Portuguese, but I felt very comfortable. And I remember being in the mall asking for something very simple and how I was treated because I didn't understand them, because it's different when you're in the country versus the people in Orlando who know to mix it a little bit. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, what? And they were like, "Blah." And I was like, what? And they looked annoyed, and I started feeling panicky. And I said, I kind of knew the language. I don't know. Oh, didn't know we were doing this right now. I can't imagine what it felt like showing up here, not knowing the language at all. And how do you decide to do that? And what must it feel like to come to that decision? And
yeah.
I have so much respect for it because I went through a vacation a couple days and then I came back home and I was like, that was hard. And I kind of knew the language and I knew where I was going. And I showed up holding an iPhone that told me where to go in my language.
Oh,
They
yeah.
arrived with no technology, no language, no money, no nothing. And I said
No
to him,
family members, no job, no money, like nothing, you
and I
know?
said to him, I go, you know, when I was standing there was the first time that I deeply got it. I just literally felt grateful for what my
Oh, for sure.
grandparents did for me. And I also don't know their story. I was too young to care to ask. I
Yeah.
don't know what that felt like when they landed here. Who was waiting for them? Where did they go? Did they have a plan? I don't know any of it. And I told them before the show, I'm like, I'm going to find out. There's still family members I can ask. And I
Yeah.
want to know because I don't want to say I never asked. But
That is
yeah,
important
guys,
to
like
know and to
that's why we started on this because again, like everything they're willing to give up. You know, my grandma never saw a lot of her siblings again. She never saw her mom again. Like
yeah.
that shit didn't
Family
come
members died, they never
it wasn't
saw
an
them,
easy
like
decision. Like it wasn't like, yeah, let's try the US. It wasn't like moving from Miami to Orlando. Like, my God.
yeah.
So yeah.
We salute them and we shine a light on them and we appreciate their bravery. Um, thank you for what you do, for what you contribute to this country. And so many of your children and your grandkids and your great grandkids, they may not know it yet, but they will one day, and they will appreciate it and they will be thankful, and they'll be sitting here like we are acknowledging the bravery that all of our immigrants have and have had and continue to have every day, because it's not like they just come here and it's done, it's over with. It's just the beginning of this crazy journey that they have to go through, and we thank them, and we understand and we know that this country is built and based on the sacrifices of all of our immigrants. So
And
just wanted to
I
shine a
will
light.
just say this because I'd be remiss to not say it. To anybody who's heard somebody or even dares hold the opinion, I know none of our friends do, but to anybody who is ignorant enough to say they're here taking our jobs, I dare you for one moment to sit across from somebody who came here from another country and ask them what they're doing to just make ends meet, because none of us would do half of what they do.
Oh,
They're harder working than I ever am, would be, can be, aspire to be. The things that they go
Yeah.
through, and it's completely normal. And again, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll stop because I can go long, but I'll tell you, you know, when I met my husband, I got him a job in a kitchen, and perfectly understood, you know, he'd be in the kitchen all day. And he came home like on the second day and he looked really upset. And I said, hard day? He said, it's really hard. I said, what's wrong though? He said, I can't use the bathroom. I'm like, what do you mean? it still breaks my heart, and it's been 2 years. He said, they don't let us use the bathroom. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, we're not allowed to. And I said, I don't understand what you're saying. He's like, they said we don't have time to drink water, to eat, to go to the bathroom. You're here to work, and that's it. I'm like, you're in a kitchen sweating for 8. What do you? I said, don't go back. And he said, no, but you got me the job. I'm like, don't go back. And I have talked about that story with immigrants that I meet throughout the last 2 years. And their response is like, yeah, we did those jobs. We know. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't fathom humans treating other people like that. And them, again, pushing past that and knowing it's still worth it to stay here. My God. Sit with one.
And
talk
just
about
like
their
that,
experience.
there's hundreds of stories, and
Hundreds
that's
a
the thing
day.
that they go through to be here. They earn every single right that they can possibly eventually get in this country. They put in sweat and tears and a lot of work, and like you said, a lot of work that, you know, us being the entitled Americans that we are, that were born in this country, will never understand the sacrifices that they've had to endure. So
Yeah.
again, lots of love, lots of light to all of our immigrants, especially our families and the ones that we hold very dear to our heart.
So I need some more wine. So this is what we're doing right now.
Well, I started drinking mine, which is probably why I got
slowed
teary.
down?
This is why I don't drink before I have to, because
Oh, I thought you
I-
slowed down.
yeah. But guys, we're gonna liven it up. We're gonna hype it up, and we're gonna play our game. And I'm gonna be really bad at it. I know that already, because I have to guess something, which is not good for me.
But cheers to America, to us, to loving humans and letting people be on their
Yes.
journey. Before we play our game, though, I did want to share real quick.
There's more.
Yes. So before we play our game, I wanted to share this with you guys. So I may have told you before verbally, but I wanted to give you a visual. So we're kind of spreading our wings, right? And so I'm going to post this on the Instagram with the links and whatnot. I'm going to get a link page together for you. But I wanted to show you where you can follow us. So our Instagram is peoplelikeuss.365, because this is who we be all year long, right? So that's where the 365 came back. Every day, all day, this is who we are. So peoplelikeuss.365. And then our TikTok is peoplelikeuss365. And then if you ever want to send in something, maybe something that you're like, oh my God, you guys have to talk about this. Or if you have a question, or if you want to ask something and you want me to answer it on air, or us to answer it anonymously, just make sure you tell us, because otherwise I'm going to call your name out. You can email us also at peoplelikeuss365@gmail.com. So I wanted to share those links with you guys. So, and I will do something. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of B. Scott, but B. Scott used to always on his show say, I need you to tell your neighbor today. You need to tap your neighbor. He called it Tap Your Neighbor Tuesday. And he said, you got to go to one friend and say, do you know who he was? And so I'm going to tell you, share this video with one friend today that you've never shared it with before. Share our TikTok, our Instagram, share it all, because I'd love to see more people join us for the fun, for the conversations, for the engagement. I really, really do have a lot of fun with it. And Pookie, did you want me to share the happy nota before we play the game so we exit on the game?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's get it going.
Because I'm on it. I promise. So, like always, we do like to end on a happy note because, you know, we got kind of emotional there, and that's not sad, but it's reality. So I do want to share this with you guys. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. And I just thought that was such a great quote regarding what we spoke about earlier. So if there's something in your heart that you desire, please run towards it. And then I love this one as well. You can rise up from anything. You can completely recreate yourself. Nothing is permanent. You're not stuck. You have choices. You can think new thoughts. You can learn something new. You can create new habits. All that matters is that you decide today and never look back. I thought
that's awesome. Recreate yourself, guys. Every day is a new opportunity. Every moment of every minute of every day, we have choices. We can decide different things. We can move from where we were. Don't ever let anybody tell you elsewise.
Absolutely. And with that said, before we go, because we got yelled at last week to never, ever, ever, ever cut out game time.
I know. We were trying to like keep it okay. Let's not have these people fall asleep. And we got yelled at. Game time is a must.
Guys, it was a 2-hour show. We were trying to be considerate.
We were like, okay, bye. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
We got calls immediately. Where was the game? Oh my goodness. So
which is great. I love that you guys love the game and that you love spending time with us and that you're giving us your time because, you know, everybody's time is precious. So we appreciate you guys.
Thanks for hanging out with people like us always. Oh, you start the game so I can see how this is supposed to work.
All right. So we are going to play What Am I? And there's a series of questions and you have to guess what it is that I am. Here we go. Exactly what I am, no one knows. Nevertheless, the world is ordered around me. Devices of all types keep track of me.
Time.
Say that again.
Time.
Very good. Woo! You're going to win. I'm so bad at this. I'm going to be like,
Good job, Amanda.
Woo, Good job, Amanda. You better be quick with mine so you can help me cheat.
All right, ready? I'm a musical instrument. I am made from brass, but am not part of the brass section. A bird was known for playing me. I can be alto, soprano, tenor, or baritone. Lisa Simpson plays me all the time.
A trumpet?
No. Bill Clinton once played me on a late night talk show. I'm
a saxophone.
Yes.
Yay! I'm like picturing Lisa Simpson. I'm like, okay, like it was something.
I played the trumpet.
That explains a lot.
Me and Lisa Simpson look a lot alike.
You're more of a homer, but okay. All right. So
I feel like his emotions are mine, though. I'm always like, don't, or the whole like going into the grass because I'm embarrassed about what's going on. Yeah, both of those are mine. It's okay. Moving on. I don't want to be Homer.
All right. So question number 2. We're 1 for 1. I have a form I don't have. I'm sorry. I am a form of dance. I have nothing. I have, see, it does say I have companies throughout the world. So I am a form of dance. I have companies throughout the world. I can be classical or contemporary. My lead dancers are called principals. I have ballet? 5 main positions.
Ballet?
Yes.
Good job, Jackie.
Yay, good job.
Look, I look similar to Marge with this.
You look similar to Marge?
Do you get it? Because of her blue hair.
Oh, because of her blue hair. That's so, I was like, well, I was laughing and then I'm like, no, I don't get it. Actually, why do you look like Marge?
You're like, meh, meh, meh. I don't get it.
That's
okay.
So funny.
All right. I'm found in the closet. I am used for cleaning. I am an item associated with hard work. I am tall and slender. I'm soft down below.
When me and Jackie.
I can be floppy.
You're floppy? A broom. A mop. A broom, a mop.
Mop.
A mop. That was so funny because you're like, I can be found in a closet. I'm like, you sure can.
No, I can't be. I came out a long time ago. I was really embarrassed, but, you know.
So funny. All right, good job, guys. Okay, so I am a mammal. In the wild, I live only in Africa. Fun fact. I am one of the heaviest land animals. I can close my nostrils completely to keep out dust.
An elephant.
No. Lions are my only non-human enemy. I am a symbol for Toys R Us.
A giraffe.
A giraffe.
What can they do with their nose?
I know. I was like, you can?
When
They
you
can
see
close their nostrils to keep out dust. That's convenient in the spring.
very
and all the-
convenient.
I wish I could do that when I was cleaning. Elephant, elephant. Brr.
All right.
She got that. All right.
I am
My
an
turn.
I am an informational and entertainment tool. Stop drinking when it's your turn to guess. I'm sold in shops and street corners. People like to start the day with me.
Coffee?
I arrive every morning.
Newspaper. I'm such a coffee drinker. I'm like, I like to start my day with
Un
coffee.
café con leche y una tostada.
Right as I said coffee, I remembered the information on it. I'm like, well, coffee. Hey, that wasn't too bad. I didn't know coffee. See, what had happened was that coffee gets me alert, so then I can
Only you knew.
receive the information.
Try to talk to her before her coffee and see how alert she is.
Oh, it's awful. Okay, so what am I? I am an entertainment item. I am associated with celebrations. I come in many colors.
Confetti!
Now, children love to fill me up with water.
Balloons!
Balloons.
Did you ever watch the Rosie O'Donnell show? She used to scream randomly, confetti! And then she would shoot it out. It was my favorite thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's
But
great.
no, it was
great for
balloons.
ADD. And then she took it on The View. On The View, she would do it too. I'm going to send you clips. Confetti! And she'd hit the button and it would go. And they were like, oh my God. If
I
know
want that. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, then you have to clean it though.
Why can't I drink when it's my turn?
Because every time I start speaking, you're like, I'm like, no. And then you start laughing with it in your mouth and you can't guess. And then I am a band of flexible material. I can be different sizes and colors.
A rubber band?
I am also a strip of land with distinctive properties. I am key to the workings of some vacuum cleaners.
Oh, a belt.
A belt. I never would have gotten it.
Yay. What did it say about being a land?
Why are all yours about cleaning stuff?
Because somos
bias.
latinas y las latinas siempre estamos limpiando.
I call bias to the word picker.
All right. Okay, this is my last one. What am I? I am a security device. I come in different styles and sizes. I am often gold in color. I sound like the Scottish word for lake. I am found on suitcases,
Lock.
diaries. Who?
A lock.
Very good. Did you try to say it like London?
That's
Oh no,
the-
it's
that's like-
Scottish. I changed the name of the country.
I know, pobre. I don't care if they're Scottish, Irish, whatever. I'm always like, donkey.
Ah! Oh my God. That's the wrong country.
Where is Shrek from? Is he from Ireland? Where's
Who?
Duloc? Shrek. Because if you say like Irish, Scottish, I'm like, donkey.
Scottish. Somebody Google where Shrek is from and get back to us. Okay, do you have one more?
Yeah.
He's from the swamp, duh. He's a swamp creature.
All of these accents are terrible. I am a fiber tip pen.
Wait, do you know the song? Can
Welcome
you do the
to
song?
Dulac, such a perfect town, and we have some rules. Let us lay them down. Please keep off of the grass. Shine your shoes. Wipe your
Face.
You rock it. Okay.
A perfect place.
Last one. I am a fiber tip pen. My ink is translucent. I was invented in Japan in 1962. I am fluorescent.
A highlighter.
Eso mismo.
Yay! Oh my goodness, I did good today.
Cleaning supplies and office supplies.
It must have been the coffee I had this morning.
That made you feel alert and informed.
It gave me information. It's informational for me.
Oh my God. Well, guys, it was so much fun, as always, hanging out with you. Tomorrow, we will be doing our special RuPaul's Drag Race coverage, since we didn't get to do it yesterday because we were honoring July 4th. So if you're free and want to hang out with us tomorrow at same time, same place. And we love you guys, and we love you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us. And as always, go out, find your tribe, find your people. Life is better when we do it together. Thanks again for tuning in and spending some time
With people like us.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.